What's going on, my broskies? In today's video, we're playing some more Gunship sequel. I'm never going to get used to that name, but we're playing some more Gunship sequel, World War II, and I'm going to teach you guys how to use the Yak-9. There's going to be a combination of voiceover and live mic, so let's get to it. Alright, so we got a Focke-Wulf 198.3. I'm going to just B&Z this thing. This thing pretty much outclimbs it. It's kind of like the B&Z fighter of the Soviets, but it really isn't. So it's kind of weird right now, but you can technically B&Z with it. Although I would like to get in some turn fights. I feel like that's meant to be. So my first tip for you guys is if you have the altitude advantage, go for B&Z attacks, as this thing has insane energy retention and a climb, and also a pretty decent climb rate. I found that in a lot of climbs I was able to actually catch up to the German fighters or even outclimb them in some instances. However, I doubt you'll be out diving in German fighters, so I just recommend going into maneuvering rather than diving. Alright, let's see if we can outturn him. He's going to try scissoring. Always make sure you know what your opponent's going to do. Try to predict their next move so that you don't overshoot them. I saw that this German fighter was going to try doing scissoring attacks with me, which could force an overshoot and be very deadly because then he'd have the advantage. So cutting my throttle and deploying flaps early on is what saved me here. There we go. That's a kill. Ooh, that was intense. Due to its limited ammunition, I highly recommend you calculate your shots. Don't just randomly spam. I do recommend just setting up deflection shots, just aim in one direction and hold down that trigger until they fly into it, because it only takes 145mm just to end a dogfight right then and there. I don't know if I can make this shot. It's really tempting, but I don't know. I highly recommend against trying to make long-range sniper shots, even with the nose-mounted guns, as chances are you're going to miss and alert your enemy to your presence. Get in close first, then open fire. Alright, he's down, he's down. He's trying to waste all my ammo. Yeah, he really bleed through ammo, but it's better just to get the kill than try to make one shot and hit him. At least in my opinion. Try to secure the kill when possible. Don't be worried too much about bleeding through ammunition. If you run out, just go ahead and RTB. But if you're really concerned about saving ammunition, then just do some small bursts. But don't take single shots just hoping to land one, as chances are you're going to miss. You need some kind of burst and let your opponent just run into your shots. So what have we learned so far? Well, that you can pretty much B&Z German fighters as long as you have the altitude advantage. So before you try to engage in any dogfights, make sure you have an altitude advantage of some sort. Don't try to just stay low and outturn a lot of your opponents, because chances are they're going to roll with you. And if you're not prepared for that, you're about to get outturned or you're about to overshoot or something crazy like that. The plane does lock up very early at around 500 kilometers per hour, and at 600 kilometers per hour, it's pretty much just uncontrollable. German planes are going to be outturning you. You need to control your speed when engaging in turn fights. Don't just turn at 100% throttle with no flaps or something like that, because you're going to get outturned a lot of the times. And it's not so much them just outturning you, it's more of them just creating more distance, which opens up an angle for a little bit longer. Eventually, you're going to outturn them, but in the amount of time it takes to maybe outturn a 109G with flaps on, they might have already shot you down. So you have to be very careful of that. What I'd recommend is reducing your throttle slightly at first and even turning on 50% flaps until your speed drops below 400 kilometers per hour. Then you can turn your throttle up and just turn like regular. Just as long as you can maintain speed below 400 kilometers per hour and maybe with even 25% to 50% flaps on. And that should give you a turning edge, and once you get on the 109, or once they realize that they can't keep up with you in that turn, they're going to break off, and then you can follow them and catch up to them, because chances are you're going to be faster if they engaged in that turning maneuver, because they're just going to have bled speed and you haven't bled that much speed at all. So it kind of just gives you a really nice advantage right there. If you can force them into a turning maneuver, go for it. If not, just B&Z them. Got him. Yeah, that's pretty good. So a lot of people have been telling me that the Yak-9 is OP and that it should be nerfed, but in reality it actually performed quite realistically to how WAD portrayed it, except for the fact that it's not affected by altitude. If the Yak-9 was affected by altitude in Wings of Duty, then it'd be completely balanced, but because it's not, it's able to maintain crazy turns and crazy speeds at high altitude in which it couldn't. The Yak-9 at the deck can keep up with the 109 as it can go 700 kilometers per hour, and just above that it starts ripping apart. In a level flight, where the 109 G6 model can go roughly the same amount. Where the 109 G6 model has the advantages in a dive where it can go 130 kilometers per hour faster than the Yak-9. But because altitude is not a factor in this game, the Yak-9 has been OP. Once they add altitude, everything should be back to normal. No way we made that shot. Too bad the 45 didn't hit him. He got lucky there, honestly. I'm gonna try rolling. It's kind of a little bit more dangerous to roll with this plane because of that. If you turn into the gun sight just once, you just get lit up by 45. So overall, I don't think they should nerf the Yak-9. Instead, they should be focusing on more realistic physics, such as air density and that kind of stuff. That should pretty much fix the unbalanced issues in the game. I don't know if they've done anything with the physics. I'm not too sure if altitude even plays a role, but I'm guessing it doesn't because it's just something I haven't noticed. But if it is there, it probably could use a little bit of reworking, or maybe I'm just losing my mind. I don't know. But I do think physics definitely needs to be retouched, especially when it comes down to altitude levels. If you're a German fighter and you want to know how to defeat the Yak-9, I wouldn't recommend scissoring so much. I just recommend using your dive speed just to get out of there, because you can outdive Yak-9s. Don't worry. You can definitely outdive the Yak-9s. Where I see a lot of German fighters making the mistake is where they start trying to scissor with it, because they go into the cannon, they go into like the gun range once, and they just get shot and the dogfight's over. I mean, you can definitely scissor with these things, especially against like not as good pilots who don't see that coming. But a good pilot's gonna see you scissoring, and they're gonna start preparing for it, and then just lining up shots while you go in and out of their gun sight. If you're a German fighter, just stick to your B&Z tactics, gain some altitude, dive on them, hit and run. The Yak-9 is not going to really be able to catch up with you, but it definitely does have an advantage since there is no altitude effect. So I just recommend hit them, dive away, and then come back later, and it should work out pretty well. They have very limited ammunition, so they're not going to be attacking you as much as you think they will. Head-on-head attacks, you can definitely do it, but just remember that 45mm cannon only takes one hit to really mess you up. But it's not very accurate, so you could definitely probably dodge it if you wanted to. If you're a Yak-9 pilot and you're going for them sniper shots, just remember the added bullet gravity now, which is super epic. I've been waiting for that for a very long time. Very glad they did add it though. It just makes the game just that much more realistic. It's pretty epic. So yeah, account for that bullet drop. Use the reticle to help you and just figure out where your tracers are going, and then calculate for that bullet drop so you can land a pretty nice sniper shot. But for now, let's just be patient and see what comes with the Yak-9 and future physics updates. But we don't need to just go off nerfing everything right now. I could have helped him if it wasn't freaking freezing the entire time I'm trying to shoot him. One thing I thought would have been cool if they added to the Yak-9 was if they added the original armament with 120mm cannon and two 12.7mm machine guns, and then maybe make the 45 and 37 models a little bit sluggisher, a little more heavy. I don't know if they've done anything with that yet, but you guys let me know in the comments. Whoa, 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 whoa. Dude, I'm like out of ammo, dude. Let me look. 2 rounds left. I guess it's not perfect. Well, you know what they say, go till you die. I've actually never heard anyone say that before, so. Or we just climb with them. I'm curious, can I climb it? Usually this is a very bad move to make, but I feel like in Yak-9 it doesn't matter. If I just get really close to him, I can land a pretty cool shot. I don't think any of us know how to spell science. Actually, that's probably not spell. Like I said, due to the altitude not having any effect on the performance of the plane, the Yak-9 does tend to climb a lot better than it probably should. I don't know if that's an altitude thing or if it's just the plane just doing that by itself. I'm not too sure, but that definitely needs to be retouched. It shouldn't be able to climb like that. It should be stalling out. So what you're about to see here pretty much shows you how OP the Yak-9 is, and especially in this dogfight right here. It's just I keep up with the 109 in its climb, and I keep up with it in a level flight, and even catch up to it. It did bleed a lot of speed in those maneuvers where I didn't. I mean, technically, in this situation, I guess I could technically catch up, realistically, but we're at a pretty high altitude. I don't know if I can go that fast. Ooh, that was a delayed kill. I was gonna ram him there. 46, 20 millimeters left. I'm just gonna not. This game started to lag. I don't want the footage just to look laggy. Alright guys, we're gonna end this video right here. This is how you dogfight in the Yak-9. It's pretty OP. I'm probably gonna do a voiceover most of this stuff, so you won't be hearing the live mic the whole time. Well, this is the end of the video. It doesn't matter at this point. You've already watched it.